Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a redraft of the 2021 NFL draft class. These are always a ton of fun, and I know y'all are eager to get into the comment section to have that nice football discourse. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe, and leave this video a thumbs up. Special thanks to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring the video. Underdog, if you use promo code Broshmo when you sign up, they will match your first deposit up to $100. They currently got Best Ball Mania going on, and they're giving out $15 million in cash prizes. So if you want to be a part of that, then check out Underdog Fantasy. Let's get into this sucker, as the Jags will have 2 first-round picks, but this first one's kind of a no-brainer. Trevor Lawrence, he started paying dividends this year. He's the best quarterback in this class. We got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. All right, now we have the New York Jets. If you remember, they grabbed Zach Wilson with this pick. A little underwhelming, I know. But I don't think you steer away from the quarterback position. You just change who you get at quarterback, because Sam Darnold is on the way out. And I would argue that Justin Fields is probably the next best option. After that, you look at guys like Trey Lance, Mac Jones, and they're not really up to snuff for this top 10 area, in my opinion. But Justin Fields showed how special he could be this past year, so let's go ahead and snag him. We will have the 23rd pick. If you followed these redrafts I've done before, then you know I take the draft order prior to the draft. So any trades made during the draft, I don't include those. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, this leaves me in a little bit of a bind here with the San Francisco 49ers. I don't want to go Trey Lance, and I don't want to go Mac Jones. I think I don't know. It's weird. Mac Jones, I feel like at best is a top 15 quarterback, or maybe even a top 20. But Trey Lance, we really just don't know the ceiling on that. I don't want to take chances at that. And keep in mind, the Niners, they moved up to this spot, and they gave away 3 first-round picks to move up to this pick. So listen, if we're gonna be getting, we gave up 3 first-round picks, we gotta get a game-changing player, and there is that type of guy in this class. He's probably listed with the linebackers, Micah Parsons. The dude has been absolutely bonkers. He's been absolutely nuts since hitting the field. He is just special. So listen, if you gave up 3 first-round picks to move up to 3, the very least you could get is a game-changing player. Now we're sitting here with the Atlanta Falcons. I like the Kyle Pitts pick. I know last year was kind of a bit wishy-washy, but I like them going after playmakers for the offense. However, I'm going to take a more valuable position at this point in Jamar Chase. Julio Jones, he's kind of on the last legs of his career, so we're going to snag Jamar Chase for the Atlanta Falcons, which kind of makes this pick easier for the Cincinnati Bengals, who took Jamar Chase to basically re-up that LSU championship team to pair him up with Joe Burrow. So if you're not going to get Joe Burrow, I guess his former receiver, you might as well get him some protection, because that line was terrible. The question is, who is the offensive tackle we're taking? And it comes down to these 3 right here: Penei Sewell, Rashawn Slater, Christian Darrisaw. And I kind of lean Slater. He was banged up last year, but we've seen elite play from him. But I'm going to be honest, it's kind of a coin toss between all 3 of these guys. The Miami Dolphins, and I love the Jalen Waddle pick. Jalen Waddle's been phenomenal for the Miami Dolphins. He really has. However, I think if they, I think going offensive line is just too good. You gotta protect Tua. You really do. So I think I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna grab Christian Darrisaw, who we can talk about had an elite year this past year. Some people would argue the strength of schedule wasn't that good. He wasn't exactly going against top-end talent. And when he did first see that, like, a high-end talent, then he didn't have the best outing, but it wasn't bad. Like, Darrisaw's stupid good. Again, it kind of comes down to a coin toss. For me, I think systematically that we're seeing more outside zone from Minnesota than we have with the Lions. So I'm going to go with the guy who's more proven in that aspect, and more proven in a sense that we've we've actually seen him do it. So, you know, not being asked to do the same type of thing. So I'm going to go with Darisaw, but don't worry. Penei Sewell literally coming off the board with this pick. This pick was great. I did think about receiver here, but Sewell's just kind of too good to pass up. You could really have Sewell, Christian Darisaw, and Slater in any order, and I won't mind it. I think they're all up and coming. Now we get to the Carolina Panthers, and J.C. Horn was the original pick here, and I thought that was a good pick. But if you truly want to give Sam Darnold, who they just traded for prior to this draft, if you really want to give him a shot, then you need to surround him with playmakers. And I think pairing up DJ Moore with Jalen freaking Waddle, I think you're doing that. You're giving Darnold playmakers, and now you could come to a quicker evaluation of that he is not your guy, and you need to go out and get a quarterback. It's unfortunate that the 2022 class really didn't have any top-end quarterbacks. Now we get to the Denver Broncos, and you know what? Patrick Surtain he was just a great pick here. Him, J.C. Horn, they're the top corners in this class. But I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I did consider taking a quarterback here for Denver. I thought about Mac Jones, I thought about Trey Lance, and ultimately I just didn't do it. I don't know if I will in this draft. Like those guys, like again, Trey Lance, super unproven. Just really haven't seen him on the field a ton. And then Mac Jones kind of hadn't been mediocre play. And like, how high is the upside of him? So originally with this pick, Dallas traded to 12. And you had the Philadelphia Eagles move up to get Devontae Smith. And then Dallas was able to get Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons, not here. Who would have thought he's going higher in a redraft? So what are we going to actually then do here? So if you look at what they did on day 2 of this draft, they had, I believe, 3 or 4 picks on day 2. And they went with, out of those 2 picks, 2 of those picks ended up being corner. They wanted to address corner. They wanted to get better at corner. So I think you kind of do the same thing. And that's what I'm going to do, except for in the first round. Forget about Kelvin Joseph. Forget about, Noshawn Wright. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Horn to pair up with Trevon Diggs. And now we have the New York Giants. And the Giants, they need receiver bad. I mean, they ended up trading down. This is where the Bears moved up to get Justin Fields. And they ended up getting Kadarius Toney. That didn't work out. So they wanted a receiver bad. And I think it's just kind of funny that you have the pick in front of the Eagles here, and you can go ahead and just snag the receiver that they took. We're going to go ahead and take Devontae Smith and also block the Eagles in that way. I think the Giants fans could appreciate that. All right, Philadelphia Eagles. Now, it does suck. You were kind of hoping one of the top 3 receivers would be on the board. They are not. However, I think you could still snag one hell of a receiver here if you're the Eagles. I was looking at the roster, and it's pretty complete. So let's go ahead and snag a receiver, and I'm going to take one of the best slot receivers in football in Amon-Ra St. Brown. He has proven that he shouldn't have been like, what was he, like the 12th or the 14th receiver taken in this draft class. He has proven he is much more than that. Now we have the Los Angeles Chargers, and no Rashawn Slater here. Kind of a downer. That's what happens in these redrafts. When you draft well, you're not going to get those players in a redraft. But I think you still go with the offensive line. We're going to go with the versatile Elijah Vera Tucker. He can play guard. He can play tackle. I think he's a good fit for the scheme here. So we're going to go ahead and take him here for the Chargers. The Minnesota Vikings, they ultimately trade down, get Christian Darisaw. Darisaw not even here at 14 anyway, so we don't even have to think about it. This Minnesota team, I'm here looking, and I was like, you know what? They have Kirk Cousins. So let's go ahead. Let's get the heir apparent. Let's get a guy we can maybe develop behind Kirk Cousins while we're paying all that money. And get someone that can eventually get us off that Kirk Cousins contract. So this is where I'm going to take Trey Lance. I think he has the better ceiling compared to Mac Jones, my opinion. So I'm going to snag Trey Lance here. And again, we haven't seen much of Trey Lance. He's such an unknown at this point. Okay, the New England Patriots. They took Mac Jones. They didn't have to trade up for him. That's great. We're not taking Mac Jones here. I don't think Mac Jones made this team that much better. Instead, I'm gonna go ahead and indulge in this corner class because this corner class is pretty darn good. J.C. Jackson, Stephon Gilmore will be gone in a year. So getting the next man to step up, I think, is very important. So I'm actually gonna take. Where art thou? Tyson Campbell here. I think he's actually a really good fit too for the Patriots. Okay, we have the Arizona Cardinals, and this is the fun thing in redrafts. Sometimes good players fall. That's actually in any draft. Good players just happen to fall in the draft. That's what happens. And Kyle Pitts doesn't. I don't think he deserves to fall this far. I kind of have to put an end on it, man, because like from a value standpoint, like this is just immense value. It's just up until now, it's like between, okay, do I take Kyle Pitts, who's a very good player, or do I take maybe a more valuable position? That's kind of where I was at with some of the prior picks. But I think here for Arizona, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I don't believe Zach Ertz was on the team yet. Let me just go and confirm that. Yeah, Ertz didn't join until the 2021 season. He was traded in October of the 2021 season. So now you don't even make that move for Zach Ertz. So there we go. Las Vegas Raiders. So their draft wasn't that good. If you could go check out my regrade video I did earlier this week, wasn't real good. But they made one particularly very good pick, and I think that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Nate Hobbs. He's actually the player that put Illinois defensive prospects on the map for me. We're going to go ahead and snag Nate Hobbs here. He's been really good for the Raiders. He's shown you can play inside and out. All right, this is pick 2 for the Miami Dolphins. And, man. Here, Gojo's back there scratching himself. And this one ended up being pretty darn tough. It really, really did. Because I was thinking about going ahead and going with Jalen Phillips again. I really did, but man, I mean, I feel like they've invested. This is a team that has invested a lot recently in the edge play, and I think I'm going to snag Javon Holland. I knew I was going to take one of these Dolphins players, either Holland or Phillips. And I think I'm going to go with Phillips, man. I think Phillips has actually we saw elite play from him. Or I say Holland. We've seen elite play from Holland. Phillips, he's getting there. He's getting there. I know people would look at the sack numbers and be like, what do you mean? And it's like, listen, guys, his win rate, his pressures, they're not on an elite level just yet. I mean, he's trending in the right direction, though. But I'm going with Holland. Okay, we got the Washington football team, and I'm going to go with the secondary here because they could get Greg Newsome, who is just a phenomenal scheme fit for Jack Del Rio. And I think Newsome, another player with inside and outside versatility. I mean, the cornerback position is just so volatile. When you could get really good players at corner position, I think you should go ahead and take those guys. Chicago Bears. So no Justin Fields, unfortunately. That kind of sucks. But the Bears are about to have a liquidation sale of this team anyway, especially the front seven. So let's go ahead and start building the front seven with someone who I passed up just a few picks earlier in Jalen Phillips. So Phillips, he doesn't fall too far after that. I mean, I think there's a good discussion there. Who do you take, Holland or Phillips if you're the Dolphins? But we're going to be taking Phillips here with Chicago. All right. We got the Indianapolis Colts, and they initially took Kwity Paye. Kwity Paye's been okay, but nothing special. I think instead you go ahead and take the freak that's Gregory Rousseau, man. He has been very productive for the Buffalo Bills. Tennessee Titans, they initially took Caleb Farley here, a guy that had injury woes going into the draft, and unfortunately a lot of those have kind of proven to be true. He's just hasn't been able to stay healthy. So then, since we obviously aren't going to take that, where do we go from there? And I think I was looking at the after this season, the Titans, they move on from Rashaan Evans and Jayon Brown. So we could go ahead and go with the linebacker position. You might be like, JOK? And I'm actually going to go with Nick Bolton. I'm going to get this more stable. Yeah, he's not nearly as athletic as JOK, but Bolton, legitimately, he could stay up there in the middle. He could take on run blocks. He's not a guy that can play out like JOK. Yeah, he's great out in space, but I want someone that can actually play in the box. So I'm going to go with Nick Bolton here. Okay, we got the New York Jets. We took Justin Fields with their first pick. This is their second pick, and you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and get the center of the future for Justin Fields. And I'm gonna take freaking Creed Humphrey, who honestly probably could have went a lot higher than this. It's just there's a lot of talented players in this draft, but man, dude has already become the best center in football. You could even argue that he might be better than Jason Kelce at this point in time. I still kind of say Kelce, but like Humphrey is not far behind. All right, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers here. Looking at this roster, like the tackle position's not great. Their current guard situation, David DeCastro, actually ends up being released in June prior to the season. So I think if you get someone that can be versatile in that regard, then you should. And Samuel Cosmi is a lot better than how Washington treats him. I don't know why they don't like he's been really good for him at right tackle, but still they felt the need to go out, get a tackle and Andrew Wiley, and then kick Cosmi into guard, where he's played well there too. So it's like Cosmi's just a good player, and I think the Steelers would appreciate a good player there on the defensive front. All right, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, we got the franchise quarterback in Trevor Lawrence and T. Law. So let's maybe pair him up with a weapon here. Let's pair up our quarterback selection with a wide receiver selection. That's what I got on the mind. I want to get him weapons, and I'm going to go with Rashad Bateman. He was banged up this year, but I think he proved during the last stretch of his rookie season that he can be the real deal. Cleveland Browns. All right, man. JOK could be a pick here. He's been really good for the Browns, but I think I'm going to go with the defensive front. This team has been squishy in the defensive middle for a long time, and Christian Barmore, I think, kind of helps remedy that a little bit. So Barmore totally deserved to actually go in the first round. He ends up slipping, going to the Patriots in round 2, but not making it out of the first round here. Okay, Baltimore Ravens. Man, Rashad Bateman actually would have been kind of nice here. So we have pick 27, pick 31. I think this pick, was this the Patrick Queen pick? And then they go Jason. No, I think they went no, maybe it was Patrick Queen, then Jason Owe. Well, now Odafe Owe. I can't recall. I can't remember. But I have a good feeling that there's a couple of edge guys kind of in the same, I would say, that are currently the same caliber as Owe. If he doesn't end up making it to pick 31, there's a couple of other guys that I feel confident in taking. So we're not going to go with edge here. We're not going to go with linebacker either. I think we're actually going to go with the top guard in this class, and Trey Smith. Get him to play along that defensive front, man. Baltimore, they love having a very good offensive line. Smith will continue to help that legacy. Remember they took Ben Cleveland in this draft, and he will be the starter this year for the Ravens. So go ahead and grab Trey Smith. Trey Smith fell in the 6th round because of injury red flag. I think it was blood clots for him. So medical red flag caused him to fall. All right, the New Orleans Saints. We're actually going to go quarterback with this pick. This is where Mac Jones goes. This is where he's going to go playing under Sean Payton. Sean Payton was still with the squad now at this time, right? Maybe not. Maybe not. No, he was still with squad. But getting a quarterback on a rookie deal, that might help with some of the cap woes that the Saints have been dealing with. They've been finagling the salary cap for a long time, and it's all coming to a head. Let me tell you, it's all coming to a head. The Green Bay Packers. Now, aside from David Bakhtiari and Elgin Jenkins, their offensive line's kind of a mess. So I'm actually going to go with offensive line here, and I'm going to take Landon Dickerson, who profiled as a center, but has shown that he can play guard as well. So it gives him a little versatility there. And guess what? You get Aaron Rodgers more help. You can only neglect Aaron Rodgers for so stinking long. The Buffalo Bills. Now, there's a reason the Buffalo Bills double dipped at edge in this class, as they went Gregory Rousseau with this pick, and then their next pick was Boogie Basham. Rousseau not on the board. Basham could be a consideration, but I'm actually going to go with Jason or Odafe Owe here. Someone who didn't really show, like, he had a promising rookie season, didn't really take the next steps in year 2, but maybe year 3 things get a whole lot better. But regardless, we're gonna snag him here. Maybe you get Boogie in the second round anyway. So I brought up the whole Odafe Owe thing because I knew he wasn't gonna be here at 31, but I'm actually gonna take he's listed with the linebackers, Baron Browning, who actually has a better pass rush win rate, had a better pass rush win rate last season than Odafe Owe. To be fair, it was like by like 0.4, so they're very similar to that fact. But we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna get that pass rusher that also can play a little off ball. And then with the final pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I want to talk this one out because there's plenty of good players still left on the board to pick from, and I want to give a few shout outs here. Now, this pick came down to really best available. There was Asante Samuel Jr., who I really considered. There was Talanoa Hufanga, who I really considered, as well as JOK. Those were the 3 options I was really looking hard at. And ultimately, I was like, with Levante David up there in years, we know that Devin White's been a bit inconsistent. He's been a roller coaster at the at linebacker. Why not grab JOK? I don't think it's a bad idea because JOK is a very versatile option, a guy that can pass rush, a guy that can line up in the slot. Like, he's just giving you another versatile player to mess around with. So ultimately I decided on taking JOK to wrap this draft up. But that's it for the draft. You let me know what you think. Hey, look, it's Sam Monson. But yeah, I think this one was definitely interesting. We saw wide receivers, the tackles go fairly early. We had a little bit of a run on corners. Then we had Campbell come off the board, then Hobbs, then Newsome. So, like, you saw since it's me here drafting, knowing how volatile the corner position is, I really do, if there's good corners on the board, I really like addressing those, like Newsome. Then we saw a bit of a run on the edge rushers. So, very interesting mock draft. You let me know what you think in the comment section below. Can't get everybody in here. Like I said, I try to shout out guys like Hufanga and Asante Samuel Jr. But yeah, that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.